Tonight we celebrate the last season of American Hockey League play in one of the most storied arenas in all of professional hockey. The Wachovia Spectrum, home to the Flyers for 29 years and 2 Stanley Cup championship teams in '74 and '75. And the Philadelphia Phantoms and their 2 Calder Cup championships in '98 and 2005. Join us as the Phantoms take on the Portland Pirates tonight, as they begin the process of closing the doors on America's showplace. They're in a fight for their postseason lives in this, the final season of hockey at the Wachovia Spectrum. Phantoms 6 points out with 25 games to play. Tonight they face off against the Portland Pirates in the second meeting of the year between the 2 teams. A pleasant good evening and welcome into Phantoms Hockey on Comcast SportsNet with Orest, Kindrachuk. I'm Tim Saunders. There are still about 12 home games left after tonight at the Spectrum for the Phantoms, but this is our last run here in this grand old building. It certainly does bring back a lot of memories, but the Phantoms are worried about more important things right now, and that is extending their season to the playoffs. Going to be a tough challenge. They're 5th in the East Division, and only the top 4 teams make it.
Well, that's the thing right now. They got 25 games, and you look at the standings. It's unlike the NHL where the top 8 teams get in the conference. Here it's the top 4 in each division. So if there was a top 8, they would be in the playoffs. But right now with 25 games to go, they can't afford to give up any points, whether it's in a shootout or overtime or whatever.
Well, this is a hard-working, kind of a blue-collar Phantom team that John Paddock is trying to steer into the playoffs. They're not gifted with an abundance of offensive talent. They got to outwork teams and rely on their great team defense. That's highlighted by their top defensive unit of Danny Savret and Nate Gannon.
Well, this is a perfect pairing because you look at Danny Savret. He's their point man on the power play. He shoots the puck well. He shoots it with purpose. He's always in the scoring. And Nate Gannon, he's a stay-at-home kind of guy. But if we look at Danny Savret, when he's back at the point, he just doesn't shoot the puck away and to get rid of it. It's on net. It's on target. If he makes take a shot, he'll pass it over and deflect it in. Bang, it's in the net. He's got his head up all the time. He's an ideal guy as a partner for Nate Gannon. Because when you look at Nate Gannon, here's a guy that stays at home. When he was out with a shoulder injury with 16 games, the number of shots that went up was dramatically increased. So he's the kind of guy that likes to block shots, and that's not an easy thing to do. When you do those kind of things, it's a knack. But, boy, you got to have the courage to want to do it because you're stopping a puck that's moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of those, too, tonight against Portland's top players. But the Phantom defense got even stronger a couple of weeks ago with the arrival of Lassi Kukkonen. Spent most of the last couple of years with the parent team.
Well, you look at Lassi Kukkonen. Here's a guy that's played in the NHL. It's a lot harder for a defenseman from the AHL to go to the NHL to adjust than it is for a forward to go to the NHL, because it takes a lot more prowess, a lot more maturation. So when he comes back down now to the Phantoms, he's going to have that seniority, he's going to have the confidence, he's going to have the knowledge, and he wants to play and he cares.
Oh, we said the Phantoms are not a gifted offensive team. The only way they're going to beat a more skilled hockey club is by outworking them.
That's the only way they're going to do it. They cannot afford to get in a run and gun, a shootout type situation, because they work hard for every goal. So every time they step on the ice, it's got to be, and I know it's an old cliche, it's got to be 110% effort to beat them.
Well, the Portland Pirates come in with points in 9 of their last 12 games tonight. It's the second meeting of the year between the 2 teams. Philadelphia Phantoms hockey has been brought to you in part by Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge, grab life. By Wachovia, the official financial services partner of the Philadelphia Phantoms. And by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. Well, Frank Maselli was the guy in charge of the Phantoms for over 12 years. The former COO presided over 2 Calder Cup championships. Honored tonight as the newest inductee into the Phantoms Hall of Fame. This first period is brought to you in part by Pepsi. It's the Cola. And by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. And we're about ready to get started here at the Wachovia Spectrum. Hard to believe our last visit, our last game in this building. Oh, I know you have a lot more memories than the rest of us do in this place. What's the first thing you recall as a player? Well, we're having a little difficulty with O's mic. We'll get that situated. We'll take a look at the starting goaltenders for tonight. Jonas Enroth gets the start for the Portland Pirates. Pretty good record, although he is winless in his last 6 games. He's lost 6 in a row. And J.S. Aubin will get the start for the Phantoms. Aubin with a record, as you see, 5 wins, 8 losses, and a goals against of just over 3.5 per game. We said the Phantoms have allowed the most shots on goal against of any team in the American Hockey League. That number went up significantly when Nate Gennon was out of the lineup. He is back in tonight. Well, the Phantoms in to take the opening faceoff. Matsumoto unable to win that. And the Pirates take over control, and the game is underway. They try to backhand it in. It's gloved out by Matsumoto, and he'll dump it back into the Portland end. Bouncing puck in on goal, and Enroth has got that covered up.
Well, you might not like it, but I think I'm back.
What do you mean I don't like it?
I think I'm back.
I got lonely here for a minute.
I think I got sound again. So
here's a look at our officials for the game tonight. Of course, in the American League, only one referee, unlike the NHL. Portland coming in 3-1-3 in the last 7 points in 9 of their last 12 games. Phantoms got off to a pretty good start. They won 19 of their first 30 games this season, but have won only 10 of their last 25. And as we talked about in the open, they're going to have their hands full trying to make the playoffs. Just Matsumoto with a shot, and makes a save, and made the second save on that rebound as he was able to cover that loose puck up. Well, of course, John Paddock is the guy at the controls.
He is, and you know, he keeps stressing these players that they've got to continue to work hard and battle the corners, win the one-on-one situation. So he's got the players that they got to respond.
Here's Kevin Dineen, the one-time Philadelphia Flyer, played parts of 5 years here in Philadelphia. Former 35-goal scorer 1 year with the Flyers.
Well, there's a guy that knew what work hard was all about.
As you see, the Phantoms are wearing their special uniforms tonight. The sweaters honoring the Broad Street Bullies, and these are up for auction after the contest. We'll talk a little bit about that as the night goes on. Portland trying to dig for a loose puck in behind the net. Gerbe unable to come up with that. And the Phantoms' Andreas Nodal skates away up the right side. 3-on-2 if the Phantoms hurry. Over the line. Sirbrett goes to the net. Backhand shot. And Enroth may have gotten a piece of that. Goes into the corner on the near side. Jared Ross dumped it back down low, but right to a Pirate. He was without a stick, was able to kick it though out of his own zone. Nodal regains control at center ice. And he'll lay it back to his defense. Brett, the top defensive pair with Nate Gennon. And as we said, that really is the strength of this hockey team. Out in front, the loose puck picked up by Suez, and he tried to feed the left point. That was tipped away the other way. And Mark Mancari unable to get to that. Now intercepted by McDonald at center ice. He'll dump it in. On the left wing, swinging in deep. And Carey stripped of the puck. And the Phantoms back that away. Outletting now. Suez at center ice, unable to complete that pass. Claxon let his defense play it. And it's driven in deep into the Portland end. Pirates gain control back there. And Mark Mancari, their leading scorer. He's 13th in the American Hockey League with 50 points on the year. Deflected it into the Phantom end. And the both teams are changing quickly. Pass the other way up the right side. And a shot covered up by Enroth as the Phantoms had a chance. He looked like he was going to keep that in play and then gets the whistle.
Well, this Portland team, they're a real quick team. Looking at the scratches tonight, the Saunders and Klotz for the Phantoms. And the Pirates guy got a lot of them. But the Pirates, they're a quick team. They're not a real physical team. Looking at Kevin Dineen, he was also a captain here.
Phantoms score off the faceoff. That shot from the right point, and it was Mike Gragnani who got one through the pads of Enroth. Enroth got a piece of it. Whether they change directions in front, we'll have to wait and see. But the Phantoms get the first one and take the 1-0 lead.
Well, if there's something you learn from that shot, you take a look at it. It's not the hardest shot in the world. He's got his head up, just directs it at the net. It might have gone off a skate. Get a better look at this angle. But he's got his head up. He just shoots it. may have gone off Weber's skate.
It is tipped out in front. They're giving the goal to Rob Sirianni. Gragnani will draw the assist on the 5th Phantom shot of the game. 2 minutes, 15 seconds in, and Philadelphia has the 1-0 lead.
Just the start they needed. They're getting shots on the end rock, so it's important that they keep the pressure going. They got a forecheck. Portland's a very speedy team. They're going to keep coming at you because they are good skaters.
Sirianni gets his 3rd goal of the season. That's his 2nd of the last 8 games. And again, Hattrick draws 1 of the 2 assists. He took the shot from the right point. So not the start Portland was looking for. Phantom scoring first for the 28th time this season. And they have a 21-4-1 record when they do get the first goal of the game. Now it's in behind the Phantom net. In the corner, puck just eludes Nate Gannon. Trying to get it out in front was Colin Murphy, and it's dumped back into the far corner. Bumping off a man was Laliberte. The Phantom's defense steered over to the near side. And Patrick Maroon had a chance to clear. Now regains control. He's upended along the wall right in front of the Phantom bench. Able to get it out of the zone, though. And Costa plays it up the left side. Into the zone now. Murphy laid it right across the goal mouth. We got a penalty coming up to the Phantoms. On the delayed call, the Phantoms gain control. It's going to be hooking on Philadelphia. And it looks like Portland will get the first power play.
Well, with 1-0 going in the first period, to kill off this first power play, it's really important for the Phantoms. And you know the Pirates, they're on the road. They're in a dogfight also to get into the playoffs. So every point is getting really important for all the teams when you're under 30 games, 25 games to go in the season.
Well, the Phantoms have been pretty good on the penalty kill of late. They've given up only 4 power play goals in the last 12 games. Portland on the power play for the first time tonight, getting in for hooking. And the Pirates unable to win the draw in the offensive zone. Phantoms clear to the line. Granier kept it in. Now a centering pass all alone and spinning right out in front of the net was Matthew Darch, unable to get enough on that, and Aubin covers up.
Well, they got an experienced goaltender in net in Aubin. He's there. He didn't leave his feet, managed to cover up on it. But winning these face-offs, every face-off now, and I don't care what part of the ice it's on, you want control of that puck.
Aubin made 37 saves, was the first star of the game last Saturday in a 4-1 victory over Binghamton. A veteran of 218 NHL contests. Phantoms win the draw and clear all the way down. As Portland got to come back for that. Pirates 22% of the power play of the last 9 games. They were in the top 5 early in the season. Then the bottom fell out for about a month as Portland whistled offside. They went about a month where they were operating at about 10%, and you're not going to win too many games when that's the case.
No, not at all. Not at all. You've got to take advantage of, especially in today's game. There's so many specialty team opportunities. You know, guys scoring goals left and right when they're shorthanded. So there's a lot of specialty teams.
Portland controls, stepping back in. Gragnani winds it in behind the net. Curry tipped it in behind his own goal. Gerbe got there, played it into the right wing corner, and the Phantoms get there. On the near side, digging for that loose puck. Andreas Nodal hit from behind. Nodal still fighting for it. And the Phantoms forced it in behind the goal. That could have been a trip in behind the net. Portland got away with that. The Phantoms able to drive it all the way down the ice. And Ruff makes that save, and Gragnani comes and gets that. 44 power play goals for Portland this year. Gragnani all the way in over the line. Left wing pass. Now Kennedy looking back to the right point. Gragnani winds with a shot. That went off the stick. Tim Kennedy, the American Hockey League Player of the Week, unable to control that. The Phantoms drive it down again.
Well, John Paddock is very aware of Kennedy and Gerbe because they can really fly, and that's what they're going to keep coming at you.
Tim Kennedy, the top scoring rookie in the American Hockey League in terms of points. They also have the top goal man in Nathan Gerbe. Phantoms still shorthanded for another 30 seconds. The time left on Nate Geddon's hooking penalty. On that left side, swinging in behind the net. Zagrafin bumped off the puck. They steer it out to the right point. Costa goes point to point. One-timer rebound, and they hit the side of the net with that. Great opportunity on the rebound by Zagrafin. Now out in front. Phantoms unable to come up with it. They tip it away from one man. And Portland swings in behind the net. Wraparound attempt right into the goal mouth. Phantoms intercept and able to drive it out.
Yeah, he might have nightmares about that one tonight. That was wide open.
Eric Zagrafin's got 14 goals on the year, but only one of the last 15 games, so he's in a bit of a drought.
Yeah.
On the side, McDonald gets it ahead of the Phantom line. That was ticked in on the way in, and that actually went in offside.
right now, and Portland looks a little bit hesitant right now. I don't think they've got their legs going the way, from what I'm being told, they're capable of going. They're a little hesitant at the blue line where they should be throwing it in more.
Only one shot on goal for the Pirates officially, and their first power play is over. So the penalty killing unit's done a great job. We said Phantoms had given up the most shots of any team in the league. They started out well here. And upended on the near side. That was Rank. Dumped into the far corner. Curry unable to get there to control. And now they play it out to the left point. Matt McDonald through traffic, trying to throw that toward the net. Knocked down by Colin Murphy. Battles for it. Got it in behind the goal. Now Schutz plays it out top right circle, and Byers' shot was deflected by a Phantom off the center ice. So the Phantoms able to gain control of the neutral zone, and now Portland will take over. Headmanning up the left wing. Over the line to Schutz. He took a hit immediately by Nate Gannon, and the Phantoms in transition. And Nodal couldn't pass it to a teammate in the middle. Schutz back in, waiting for help as Portland is changing. Now he'll just dump it in deep.
Portland's making a liar out of me because they're really starting to take the body, which they're really not known for.
You said this is a speedy team, not overly physical, but we haven't really seen that yet. Here come the Pirates on the attack, up the right wing. Into the zone on the right side is Dylan Hunter. This is Dale Hunter's son. Hunter out of the right wing corner. Looking at the blue line, trying to get it out in front. He was upended. Pass missed its mark, and the Phantoms wing it around to Patrick Maroon, and Maroon able to backhand it into the middle at center. That was brought right back in, but the Phantoms control. Danny Sivret, the only defenseman in the league to lead his team in scoring. Big rebound, and unable to sweep that back out in front with David Laliberte. And the Matsumoto penalty coming up to Portland on the delayed call. Aubin to the bench. Here's the shot up high. Big rebound, and Matsumoto couldn't dig that free. It is blown dead with that clutch still free, so Portland got a break, but the Phantoms are going to go on the first power play. They've gotten the first goal. It was a tip in front by Rob Sirianni, his third of the year. Hey, the Phantoms have a great weekend coming up with games on February 27th and 28th. Saturday, the 28th, it's the kids' post-game skate with the players. Visit phantomshockey.com for more information or call 1-800-298-4200 for tickets. Well, Sirianni has the first one, but Portland sent a man to the box. It's Zach Tarkin, and the Phantoms will skate at 5-on-4. 7:27 is the time of the penalty, and the Phantoms skated 5-on-4. A save by Aubin. He juggled that in the glove. Wanted to keep that alive, but didn't get it in time. And so this faceoff will be back in the Phantom end. It's a hooking penalty on Tarkin.
Well, the way hockey is now, even if you're short-handed, and Mike Richards has proven that with the Flyers, that you take the puck and you go offensively. You don't even hesitate.
My goodness, he is the best we have ever seen. The first player in NHL history with 2 goals, actually 3 goals in his career, when his team was down 2 men. Now has 6 short-handed goals on the season. He's got 1 in each of the last 2 games for the Flyers. And the Flyers lead the league with 15 short-handed goals. Phantoms have 10 of their own. With Philadelphia on the power play here for a minute 46. Now Danny Sivret gets it over to the far point man. This is Lassi Kukkonen. Kukkonen from behind his own goal. Finds Ross up the left wing. He tried to go cross ice. That one off a stick right to a Phantom. Andreas Nodal on the backhand. Went to the forehand and was stopped by Enroth. Pretty good move by Andreas Nodal.
It was. Have your head up like that. You can see a lot of the net when you're in the off wing.
Danny Sivret, 26 points on the power play this year. He's at the left point. Nodal gets it to him. Sivret looks things over. Back to Nodal in the right circle. Couldn't get a shot off initially. And now the Phantoms will drive it out to the right point. Lassi Kukkonen. Back to top right circle. Fake the shot. Doesn't pull the trigger. Spins away from a man. Lays it down low to Nodal. Nodal out in front. The one-timer. And Enroth got a piece of that. And Portland able to clear.
Wow, what a save by Enroth. Well-executed play by Ross.
Kukkonen picks his way right to the blue line. Couldn't get it in deep. And the Phantoms change up defensively. Now it's Mike Bradshaw. Great offensive defenseman. He can take off and go, but he does play with a certain amount of risk.
Oh, he plays with some reckless abandon. It's kind of nice to see once in a while.
Down low, the Phantoms go back to work in the power play. 33 seconds left on that. Cross ice pass to the right point. Sean Curry trying to get free of his man. Goes wide on Hunter. Feeds him behind the net. The bouncing puck into the corner. The Pirates get there first with a chance to clear. Couldn't get it out. Taken away by Patrick Maroon. Out to the right point. Sean Curry drives one, and that was blocked right out in front of him. Back into the right wing corner, Matsumoto. He's got that point man sneaking in the near side. Ratchuk, they couldn't get it to him. Bouncing puck down low into the right wing corner. Laliberte turned away from a man. Jammed away from him, and Portland with the chance to clear. They get it out with the penalty time now expiring. So both teams 0 for 1 on the power play here in the opening period. The only goal belonging to Sirianni from Mike Ratchuk 2 minutes 15 seconds into the game. Phantoms right back in. Getting with a shot that never got through. Laliberte finds it in the right wing corner. David Laliberte, a centering pass off a Phantom stick. Loose puck in front of scramble, and Enroth reaches out with a glove. He'll get a whistle and a timeout on the ice.
Well, one thing about, I can say those things about Ratchuk, about the free spirit, but I'm not the coach. Because I think some of the plays he makes, well, maybe the coach gets a little gray hair in there because it's in your end and you're lagging the puck, but he's a good skater.
Well, October 6th, 1996 was the date. Game won by the Phantoms, 3-1 over the Rochester Americans. Paul Healy had the game-winning goal, 2-1 in the third period. And Bill Barber, of course, the winning coach. Winning goaltender was Dominic Roussel in front of over 9,000 fans in attendance. Again, the first game ever for the Phantoms here in the Spectrum. Again, a lot of memories in these walls here. Of course, the Flyers played a preseason game here. Their chance to say goodbye to the old building. It's tough. You can't stand in the way of progress, I suppose.
Well, you know, it doesn't seem right sitting here watching the game, looking up at the rafters. I'm not used to not seeing the haze of smoke.
Yeah, that's one thing that brings back memories for you, I'm sure. Phantoms gain control deep in the Portland zone, trying to keep it alive. Upended, and it's out at center ice. And the Phantoms recover at their own blue line. Again, these new jerseys, these specialty jerseys honoring the Broad Street Bullies are gorgeous, but the numbers are difficult to read, aren't they?
They really are.
They're a play-by-play guy's nightmare.
And just think if you're up in the ceiling.
Here comes Portland out of their own zone. Schutz plays it up the left side, tipped in. Schutz is going to get to it in the corner. Bumped there by Oscar Spartulis. Spartulis tried to jam it away. Portland still fighting for it. It squirts out into the corner. Rob Bellamy got it back to his defense. And it's pushed in behind the goal for Lassi Kukkonen. Held money up the left wing. Olju goes on the attack up the left side. Dumped it in deep. Chasing it down in the corner is Sirianni. Sirianni with the only goal in the period. He comes up with it again on the near half wall. Traffic got in front of the net. Threw it on goal, and that trickled wide into the far corner. Knocking it down in that right corner. Olio looking for it. Now Sirianni picks it up. Finds some skating room. Turns. Cycles it back down low behind the net, but nobody there for the Phantoms. And the Pirates will get to it. Off the near wall. Weber had trouble with it, but poked it free. And now Rank is able to deflect that all the way down the ice. Only 2 shots still for the Portland Pirates, and we're well past the halfway point of this first period. Now here come the Pirates in. Man going to the net, man carry, and that deflected off the stick just wide. John Curry settles things in behind his own net. Chased out of there by Mark Mancarry. Tried to turn away down low again. Pinned it along the end wall. Portland gets in on the forecheck, but the Phantoms fighting to get it out, and Boyd Kane forces it to center ice. Now settling it. Olio lays it back to his defense, and the Phantoms, Boyd Kane backhands it in deep, giving chase Andreas Nodal. McDonald crashes with him on the end wall. Nodal goes flying, and Portland comes out with a loose puck. Leading the charge up the right side, Zachrapin dumps it in deep. Out of the net, Aubin plays it to the far corner. Phantom still can't clear. On that far board, Nodal couldn't handle it, but the Phantoms take over. And Danny Severette plays it up through the middle. Able to complete that pass, and Portland takes over with 7:10 to go here in this opening period. Phantoms 2 minutes 15 seconds in on their 5th shot of the game. So they started quickly. And Portland really hasn't found their legs yet.
Well, this is what John Paddock wants. Phantoms have had 7 chances. Portland's had 1. This is the type of game that Paddock wants.
Matsumoto plays it up the right side, but the Phantoms are going to be charged for an offside. So less than 7 minutes to go in the opening period. Still a 1-0 Phantom lead. Well, for the ultimate Flyers in-game experience, go to csnphilly.com during Flyers games. Get all the stats, chat with other fans, and play trivia only on csnphilly.com. keyword Flyers Live. 5-on-5 hockey here. We're past the midway point of the opening period, and you're right. We talked about the strength of this team being defense, and we've seen it here in the first period.
Well, that's what they have to do, and the way they're playing in front of Aubin right now, I'm sure he's pleased.
Well, Ben hasn't seen a lot of rubber, only 2 shots so far. Here into the zone, Maroon batting his shot. Enroth's got a stick on that. Laliberte trying to knock his man off the puck on that far side, but here comes Portland on the attack. Over the line. They're unable to get that back to the right point. It is just shoveled up the wall, but Matsumoto cleared to the line, but not out of the zone. Fretter threw it out in front. That deflected off the man just wide. Near wall, the Phantoms tip it into the middle, and Curry plays it up the right side. Collision at center ice, and a Phantom went flying. That was Laliberte. Matsumoto's got it, though. Threw it on goal. Hit by Maroon in behind the net. Matsumoto digging for it in the corner, and the Phantoms bat it back to him. They'll leave it there in the corner for Maroon. Maroon turns out, right side. Bobbed there by Tarker. And Portland will take over deep in their own zone, and the Pirates start out. Phantoms make a quick change. They bring out Matt Claxton, Nate Radens, and Jeff Swez. This is, in effect, their third line, but this is going to be an icing call against the Pirates.
Well, this is the kind of game I mentioned earlier that John Paddock's looking for. Don't do anything crazy.
And they're here. They're going to have a delicious meal from Bully's Restaurant.
Well, here's a date I know you remember, in Phantoms history, April 10th, 1973. It was the Dornhofer goal.
Oh.
First round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 5, Minnesota North Stars. Dornhofer scores in overtime to win Game 5. And, of course, the Flyers go on to win the series 4-2. The first playoff series victory in team history. And there it is, immortalized in that famous statue outside the building, Jerry Dornhofer.
I guess, what a save by Aubin. I guess when they take that down, Dorney's putting it in his front yard.
Yeah, I think he's claimed the statue. I don't think they're going to give it to him. Over to the right side. Here's Swez. Backhands it in deep into the Portland zone, and the Phantoms go to work. Waiting for it in the left corner. Portland able to play it away out at center ice, and Tim Kennedy dumped it in deep. Kennedy plays it off of a Phantom as it came right back to him. He goes rink wide. McDonald into the middle. Gerbe kind of fanned on a scoring chance between the circles. Kennedy in the right corner now. He was checked immediately, and the Phantoms batted away, but at the line, thrown on goal, wide of the net. Off the stick of Paul Byer. Phantoms try to get it back out in front of their own net, and Bartulis hitmans to center ice. Philadelphia will dump it in, and again the Phantoms make a quick change. And on the forecheck, Bellamy pushed his man off the puck, but here comes Portland on the attack. McDonald on the left wing, gives it up, and Gerbe is offside at the Phantom blue line. Time out on the ice. It's still 1-0 Philadelphia.
Flowers are brought to you by Commentating Forest. They're located in downtown Westchester.
Well, if you've been living under a rock, you don't know what's coming up this Sunday. It's the Flyers Wives Carnival. Come out, meet Flyers and Phantom players. The whole family, it's a great cause. Call 1-800-298-4200 for tickets. The 32nd annual Flyers Wives Fight for Lives.
Who would have thought back in, 75 or 6 when the wives are parading down Broad Street trying to drum up business for a carnival, that 30-plus years later, it's still kicking and doing very well.
I think the one thing that you can always look to the success of an event like that, how many other professional teams come to town and take notes?
Exactly, in all sports.
You bet.
Yeah.
Well, Portland comes through center ice, unable to complete a pass. Phantoms quickly in transition the other way. Sirianni dumped it in deep, giving chase. You bumped the man in behind the net. It's played away, and Gragnani has a chance to spin away from a man in the corner and now feed out in front of his own goal. Mike Koska headmans to center ice, and Rank backhands that back down the ice. Aubin out of the net. He will scoop it into the corner near side for Sirianni. Sirianni used the glass to the line. Turkin held that in momentarily, but the Phantoms are able to bat it back into the middle. And for a team that we said gives up more shots than any team in the American League, they haven't done it here in the first.
Well, obviously practice, watching practice and that, it's stressing, keep those shots down.
Kane intercepts one at center ice, sends in Andreas Dodo, sidestepped him, and he's got a man going to the net. Jared Ross couldn't get it in front. And played away by the Pirates as they tip it to center. Right back in is Jared Ross. He stumbles, gets his footing again, trying to sidestep a man into the right wing corner. Ross out in front, and poke check. The Phantom forward right in the goal mouth, had it knocked away, and here comes Portland the other way. And Carey drags it, took the shot. Aubin stick save. And the Phantoms regain control, and Ross ducks behind his own net. Just over 3 to play here in this first period. Here come the Pirates back in. Ross upends a man, cuts off Paul Byard. And Philadelphia deep in their own zone. And boy, you can see the forwards coming back in deep in their own end.
It just shows Jared Ross, not the biggest guy in the world, but he just stepped in the way of Bear and stopped his progress. That's all you got to do.
McKinnon unable to come up with it. It is swept into the Portland end. Matsumoto in after it. Matsumoto out with David Laliberte and Patrick Maroon. Maroon with 16 goals on the year. Bouncing puck in the slot, chopped away from a Pirate. Phantoms may have numbers the other way. Portland was changing, and it wasn't a particularly good change. Laliberte couldn't get a shot through. Now he's got a man coming late, but unable to feed it back. And look out the other way comes Gerbe. Nathan Gerbe at the line. 20 goals on the year. Leads all rookies in the league. Unable to get it over to the far side to Gragnani. Referee skate broke that play up as the Phantoms were about to clear, and now they will drive it down the ice. This will be icing against Philadelphia as the Phantoms come back to top. Well, he was one of the most famous, if you will, favorite Phantom players, I think, in the time since this team has been here. Frank Bialowas.
Wow, what a tough boy he was. He kept a history and the tradition up in the Spectrum with his play for the Phantoms, and he still lives in the area, and he's just a great individual.
Well, he didn't make his mark scoring goals, did he?
No, he didn't, but he's the type of guy that helped other players score goals.
I couldn't say that. He scored a few big ones, but of course he was known more for his physical play and always entertaining to watch. Phantom stumbled back the other way as the linesman was upended. Now the Portland Pirates, with only 4 shots in this period, lay at the length of the ice. No icing here as that's been waved off. So Aubin will lead it to the center of his own net. Ratchik couldn't hit his own defenseman. Portland plays it back to the line. Shot tipped out in front. That was blocked, and Sean Curry able to lay it out at center. Curry had a man cutting across his own blue line. He was unable to get that ahead to Matt Claxton. It is flipped to the Portland line, and the Pirates go back in on the attack. Zagrapin converged on by 2 Phantoms right in front of the Philadelphia bench. Puck just inside the line, and now Slatengren finds some skating room and lays it back to his blue line. Weber gets it near side to Tarka. Portland is the top affiliate of the Buffalo Sabres. Here's Fretter, unable to throw it into the middle. Kennedy checks hard on the end wall. Pirates gain control with a minute to go. Tim Kennedy unable to get it out in front, and here come the Phantoms the other way on the attack. Jared Ross up the left wing. He's got a man going to the net. Took the shot himself, and Enroth cradles that into the chest and hangs on.
Good play by Jared Ross there, especially with only 50 seconds to go in the period. You just don't want to miss the net there, so it flies all the way around the boards, and that way they might get a breakout. But he comes down, he's one-on-one, gets a good shot. Enroth has to come up with the save, and talking to Kevin Dineen about Enroth, he's a 20-year-old goaltender that's really carried the load for them and played exceptionally well.
First year in North America. He's a Swedish native. Played on that World Championship team that won the silver medal. Lost the only game in that tournament to Canada. Ross at the line. Less than a minute to go in the period. Phantoms unable to send it in front. And Portland the other way. At center ice, they'll drive it in behind J.S. Aubin. Aubin plays that aside. Now that bouncing puck gets away from the Phantom defenseman, Bartulis. Checked on the end wall, trying to keep it alive. They go to rank him behind the goal. He beats out left point. Matt McDonald with a shot. That's deflected right on. Aubin actually had to make a save, and Nodal with a chance to clear it the rest of the way out. Final seconds of this opening period, and a great effort by the Phantoms. They give up only 5 shots in the period. The Phantoms scored on their 5th shot. That was the only goal of the period on a shot from the blue line tipped by Rob Sirianni in front. 2:15 of the period, and Philadelphia will take a 1-0 lead to the room after 1.
Well, that's the kind of period John Paddock wanted. When you have that few shots, that shows that you're playing well defensively. And Aubin, even though he didn't have many shots, came up with the saves you're supposed to, and that's what you want from a veteran goaltender.
Now here's what's coming up in our first intermission. We're going to visit with the Phantom defenseman, Mike Ratchik. We've also got a special feature on this grand old building. It's the last hurrah of the Spectrum this year. And Orest will sit down with Frank Maselli, the man of the hour tonight, inducted to the Phantoms Hall of Fame. 1-0, Philadelphia with the lead after 1. This second period is brought to you in part by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. And here we go at the start of the second period with Orest, Kindrachuk, Tim Saunders back at the Wachovia Spectrum. Phantoms with a 1-0 lead on Rob Sirianni's third goal of the season. Here to take the draw is Jared Ross. Phantoms start with their top line to begin the period. Andreas Nodal chases it down in the Portland end, but the Pirates come up with it. Tim Kennedy streaking up the right side. Points in 5 straight games. He's got 11 points in those 5 games. Ross is poke-checked at the line. Stumbling was Boyd Kane, and the Phantoms will take over inside their own line. Ross, of course, the AHL All-Star MVP. He had a decent game. 1 goal and 6 assists.
Wow, that's a month for most people.
Shot through traffic from the right point by Nate Gannon, and tracking that was Enroth. He's got that in the glove and hangs on. Well, our numbers in the first period, I think the one that really stands out, are the scoring chances.
Well, that's the big difference, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want to keep your scoring chances down like that. 3 scoring chances in a period, 7 for the Phantoms. Power plays, nobody took advantage of that, but that's what you want. You want to get yourself geared into playoff hockey now. And you look at the numbers when leading after the first period. Those are pretty strong numbers, and hopefully the trend will continue.
Well, John Paddock's club lived up to what we said was their strength defensively in that first period. J.S. Aubin did not have a lot of work, but was sharp when he had to be. Phantoms, again, just 2 points back of Portland. Portland in a lot better situation in terms of the playoff picture, just by virtue of the fact they're in the right division. Now a defenseman stumbles. Phantoms got a man going to the net. Laliberte. Here's the shot on the backhand. Enroth made the save, and on the rebound, the Phantoms score. That bounced right back out on the near side to Patrick Maroon. And Maroon pokes it home, his 17th of the season. It's 2-0.
Well, I think they should add a third assist there. Terry Koharski, the head referee, because he and a defenseman bumped into each other. Take a look. Looks like Laliberte coming in right there. Defensemen collide. It looked like Bear. Coming out right out there. Yeah, definitely. It's a collision. I can just hear the Portland bench screaming at the referee to get out of the way.
His first goal in 9 games. Patrick Maroon, number 17 of the year. And it's his, comes 49 seconds into the second period.
Well, that's huge, coming in that quickly. The first minute like that, it's the old saying, you don't want to get scored on in the first minute.
Well, the assist went to Laliberte and Lassi Kukkonen.
And Terry Koharski.
Here comes Portland out of their own zone. And the Pirates dump it in deep. Phantom chasing after it in behind the goal. Digging for it on the end wall. Matsumoto had a man pinned along the boards, but he's able to spin free. That's Tyler Bout. And the Phantoms regain control at center ice. Laliberte on the left wing will drive it in deep. Chasing it down on the end wall. Maroon again in behind the net. Spins free of his check and then trying to jam it in. He scores! Patrick Maroon with 2 goals in about a minute. And the Phantoms open a 3-goal lead. Maroon's 18th of the season.
Boy, if you can see a wide-angle shot of that, you're going to see 5 red shirts and 1 Broad Street Bullies shirt. Patrick Maroon scoring quickly. But take a look here. Get a shot. He's behind the net. Comes under behind the net. But if you can really pan out, there is no Broad Street. There's 5 of them chasing him, and he comes sweeps around the net and beats Enroth to make it a 3-0 lead.
It's an unassisted goal. 40 seconds separate the 2 goals by Patrick Maroon. And the Phantoms open a cushion here. And Patrick Maroon now with 2 goals tonight after going 8 games without one.
Talk about 5 players standing around.
Well, the first time they take advantage of a defenseman who got tangled with the official. Now Phantoms right back in. This is Matt Claxton. He'll backhand it in behind the net. Nate Brayton's got a stick on it to knock it free. But Portland recovers, and out they come. Bob Hitman's up that left wing. Alan Murphy tried to send it back across. Rank unable to control that. Digging it on the end wall. Mike Ratchik trying to poke it away from a man. Radens was checked in behind J.S. Aubin. Puck still on the end wall. Curry can't come up with it, but Ratchuk did and then lost it. Out of the corner, they tip it into the circle. Unable to get free in front was Colin Murphy. A collision, and down to the ice goes Rank, and he's shaken up. Rank having difficulty getting out of the zone, and they can't get onside until he does. Now here comes Dylan Hunter. Dale Hunter's son put the brakes on at the top of the right circle, laid it out in front. Unable to get a stick on that was Fretter right in the goal mouth. Phantom's outlet. A bad pass was picked off by Fretter. Colin Fretter with a shot. Saved by Aubin, and the puck jammed free. Now the Phantoms running around a little bit.
They are. I kind of woke up Portland right now.
Fretter in behind the net. Wrap run attempt on the backhand. It's a penalty coming up to Philadelphia as the Pirate forward was upended in front. That's a tripping call, and the Pirates will skate it 5-on-4.
Boy, did Matt Claxon give a hit to Rank. Just inside the blue line. Comes by and just levels him. Wow.
I think that might be our hit of the game.
Oh, at this point in time, but good timing there. He may have got away with one a little bit there, but Rank wasn't quite sure what his rank and file was at the time.
Dave Braden's in the penalty box. Big rebound, and Portland not able to control. That was Matthew Darch in front, and the Phantoms able to clear. Radens is in for tripping at 2:59 of this second period. Phantoms shorthanded. Again, have been great on the PK the last dozen games or so. Now, Gerbe stick handles it over the line, banked it off the skate, and the Phantoms trickle it back down the ice. Hurrying back for that, Gragnani. Handed up the boards for Tim Kennedy, former teammate of Mike Ratchick at Michigan State. They won the national championship in 07. Kennedy headbands up the left wing. Gerbe goes wide on the defenseman. Now took a bad angle shot off the side of the net. It's in the netting, but kept alive by Portland. Pirates, Kennedy plays it back to the line. Man carry the forward playing the left point. They get it back far side. Gragnani, the man carry with a one-timer. Traffic in front. Aubin made the save, and the Phantoms able to backhand it down the ice.
Boy, with Kennedy and Ratchuk, I can see why, the way those two guys skate.
Gragnani headbanding up the left side now. Tyler Bach had it chopped away from him. Phantoms the other way, shorthanded. Here comes Matsumoto. He's got a man going to the net. Not able to get it out in front. Driving the net was Laliberte, but he just couldn't get him the pass. Now Tyler Bach puts the brakes on to the right wing. Pass into the middle, intercepted by Matsumoto. And he'll just dump it the rest of the way, and the Phantoms will change up for the penalty kill.
Wow, this is important for both teams. Portland feels they got a chance to get in the game, and the Phantoms want to kill it off to keep them out of the game.
Zagrapan going wide left wing. Swings him behind the net. Bothered there by Lassi Kukkonen, who stayed with him. Schutz spins free into the right wing circle. Felix Schutz tried to dump it out in front. He hit a man with that. Zagrapan to the right wing corner. Portland on the power play still for another 10 seconds. Left circle. Fretter gets it out to the right point. That hopped over the stick of Mike Costa. And the Pirates have to go to center ice for that. As they come back in, the Phantoms return to even strength. Bradens is out. Here's Schutz in the circle. Drop pass. Zagrapan with a shot. Aubin made the save of the rebound. Jam free. And Bradens turns out of the zone. He is cut off on the far wall by Fretter. And the Pirates go 0 for 2 on the power play. So the Phantom penalty killing unit's been pretty good so far. Back into the Philadelphia end. Jared Ross winds it in behind his own net to Kukkonen. Drives it up the boards, but knocked down. Portland trying to get it in front. Now Murphy banked it back to the right point. Fired in down low. That bouncing puck on the end wall. Schutz couldn't handle that. Out of the corner, they get it out to the left point. Here's McDonald with a shot off a stick. Loose puck out in front. Batted again to the blue line. Matt McDonald feeds over into the right wing circle. Here's the centering pass. That's intercepted. And Kukkonen sends out Jared Ross to center. He makes a move at the line. Gets away to the defender. Took the shot and a glove save by Jonas Enroth as he'll squeeze that.
Absolutely no question that Portland has woken up a little bit now because they're getting more opportunities, more shots. Just a nifty little move, a shot on net. Near the end of his shift, just get it on net. Big mistake there is if you miss the net, it comes all the way around while your team is changing, can really create a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 against you.
He got the big defenseman, Paul Byer, got his skates kind of tangled, and Ross almost took advantage as he tried to go to the outside. Portland digging for it off the faceoff in their own end. On the end boards, chopped away from Weber in behind the goal. Turk and Keats back to Weber in behind the net. Turker took a hit for his troubles. Good hit there by the Phantoms' Beaulieu. Off of his stick at center ice. Now he gets it up the left wing. Beaulieu goes wide, looking in front. Took a bad angle shot, saved by Enroth. And controlled Weber in the corner. He was spun around by Rob Sirianni. Sirianni, the only goal in the first period, his third of the year. Then Maroon scored twice in 40 seconds early here in the second. And it's 3-0 Phantoms on top. Oh, you couldn't come up with a loose puck in the corner. Body's going everywhere, but Portland finally clears out at center ice. Driven back in, and Enroth knocked that down with a stick. Phantoms will change up. They'll bring up Matsumoto's line with Laliberte and Patrick Maroon. Using it down in his own end is Sean Curry. Curry paired defensively with Mike Gragnani. Now off that right side. Out of the corner, Matsumoto laid it to the goal mouth and unable to complete that pass. Look out, Portland comes back the other way, 3-on-2 if they hurry. Up the right side. Here's a shot by Terry. Aubin tipped it up over his goal, and the Phantoms come back and gain control. Ed Benny to center ice. They get it up the right side to Patrick Maroon with 2 goals already. Maroon swings him behind the net. He's on the backhand. He'll lay it to the line, but Ratchuk's going to come up the center ice for him. He missed Sean Curry with a pass. Tyler Bach trying to take advantage. He was stood up by Sean Curry. That's going to be a penalty on Curry for interference, I assume. And the Phantoms will be shorthanded again. Before they are, we'll take the break. 3-0 Phantoms on top. Well, after tonight, there are a dozen regular season games here at the historic Wachovia Spectrum. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at phantomshockey.com. You can call 1-800-298-4200.
35 seconds.
Well, Patrick Maroon has 2 goals already.
7:35.
And coming in quick succession early in the period here to give the Phantoms some breathing room. But now they're shorthanded. Curry in the box for interference. And Portland back on the power play. Always said they've been good, over 22% with a man advantage for the last 9 games.
Well, this is when you really got to step up. And Portland they have woken up a little right now. So they're skating easier right now. They're coming in harder. They're just not getting in a lot of great scoring chances, which is the credit of the defense.
Able to get it in deep the first time. Gerbe, former Boston College star, stick handles in and then was upended. No penalty there. Gerbe just lost his footing, and the Phantoms grab it out.
Well, we used to call that he blew a tire.
Well, that he did. He's not a big guy. 5'6", 160 pounds, soaking wet. He might be the smallest player in pro hockey. Tim Kennedy into the zone. Gerbe in the slot couldn't get it to him. That's intercepted by Kukkonen. Ducks behind his own net and shorthanded. Kukkonen beats up the left wing. He gets it in over the line to Boyd Kane with a shot. Glove save. He scores off the glove of Enroth. And Boyd Kane on the shorthanded goal has his 10th of the year. That's the 11th by the Phantoms this season. It's a 4-0 Philadelphia lead.
I don't know, but I'm seeing something here. It looks like Enroth is pulling himself, because as soon as that goal went in, he went right to the bench. So, but Kukkonen head up, nice pass right on the tape. Boyd Kane just overpowers Enroth over his glove side. Goes off his shoulder, rebounds into the net for Boyd Kane. Yeah, Enroth immediately went to the bench. As soon as that puck went over and the goal light went on, he immediately went to the bench.
Well, here's the good news. Len Costanza is the new goaltender. This kid has not only never played for Portland, he's never played anywhere close to the American Hockey League level. Their normal backup was injured, John DeCaro. So this kid they brought up from the East Coast League. He was signed and then released by Reading. The last team he played for was in the Eastern Pro League. So his eyes got to be big as saucers right now.
What do you think his heart rate is right about now?
Well, it's up there. He stands up between the pipes, and they said the only way we'd see this kid is in a dire emergency. Well, the shorthanded goal by Boyd Kane apparently qualified.
Yeah, it sure did. Now, I don't know if Enroth got hurt on that, or he was just ejected, or, you know, he's only a 20-year-old kid.
Well, I can't believe if he's not hurt that he comes out. Tarkin gets it up at the right point. There's a drive fought off by Aubin. He squeezes that, and he'll get a whistle.
Wow, that's not something you want to see. It's not something you want to see from a young kid to get ejected like that. So Aubin comes up, just grabbing that really hard shot, but easy to see. It's right in the glove. It's not the type of time you want to be standing in front of the net, but his career, NHL career, is pretty strong.
After that point, still in the power play. Costa with a shot that trickled through, and a save by Aubin, and then jammed up the side of the net. Phantoms had a chance to clear, and they will finally get it back to the Portland blue line. 5 seconds left in the Curry finish. Maroon with 2 goals in a period in the opening minute and a half. Kane short-handed makes it 4-0 Phantoms. Penalty is over, but here comes Shook with a shot and a glove save by Aubin. The 13th he's had in this game.
Well, the one thing the Phantoms really don't want to do here is open it up and give the Pirates a lot of scoring, a lot of shooting opportunities. Play the same we are, play tight in your defense. Obviously, if you do that, you're going to get your scoring opportunities, but don't change the style of play.
There's John Matsumoto in to take this face-off. We approach the halfway point of the contest here midway through the second period. 4-0 Phantoms on top. And the loose puck picked up again by Patrick Maroon with 2 goals. He tried to lay it into the goal mouth. Out in front, they score! And Patrick Maroon banged it off a man in front. If it's Maroon, that's his 2nd career hat trick. We'll wait and see what it hit, but the Phantoms lead it 5-0.
Well, if you're a Phantom, you got to know something about this goaltender that he hasn't got any experience, so you want to go at him hard. You want to shoot the puck at him. It looked like it may have gone off somebody and into the net.
I think it hit a Portland Pirate. Maroon was being unselfish here, but the goaltender, I think, jammed it off his own man. It's the hat trick goal for Patrick Maroon.
Well, Portland's got their work cut out for them now because you know they're not going to have a lot of confidence.
First shot on Lindy Costanza, and he deflects it off his own man and into the net. And the Phantoms up by 5, and this hasn't happened often.
No, it hasn't, and I'm sure they're breathing over. You don't want any bad habits out of this. You want to take advantage of it, but you want to play because it's too hard to go back into a system. You got to change all the players to open up wide or whatever. You've got to stay on that type of play that you've been made successful in the first half of the game.
If you're Patrick Maroon, you just got to be shooting the puck.
Everywhere. It's his night.
At center ice, the Pirates batted ahead. Maroon, his last goal, assisted by Laliberte. And Nate Gannon. Here's a chance out in front. Unable to get it to Colin Murphy in front. Rank's got it on that right side. Put it down low, but Ross intercepts. He banks it up the right wing. Here's Rod Bellamy into the zone. Trying to cut back out in front and was cut off.
Now there's a shot that Rod Bellamy should have taken. He should have just let it go on net. Make sure you hit the net. You never know.
Lassi Kukkonen has a couple of assists for the Phantoms. Again, Patrick Maroon, the big period here. All 3 goals in this second period. His only other hat trick came on December 6th against Binghamton when he had a 5-point night that night with 3 goals and 2 assists.
Well, here's a pretty good percentage. The Phantoms have scored in 4 of 6 chances this period.
And at center ice, a collision that brings a whistle, and the Portland Pirates' tempers are getting short. Well, Patrick Maroon, the man of the hour tonight. He's got 3 goals. It's 5-0 Phantoms. Well, only a Philadelphia native can cover the Phantoms, and the Flyers, for that matter, with the intensity that matches the fans, and CSNPhilly.com's got him. Nobody covers hockey better than Philadelphia Flyers insider Tim Panaccio. Log on to CSNPhilly.com, powered by Comcast SportsNet. And we have apparently seen, for now, the last of backup goaltender Len DiCostanza, who gave up a goal in just 1 shot. Well, he's one of 2 guys that has coached and played in a championship team in Philadelphia. Of course, the first is Bill Barber. Here's John Stevens, who was a player for the Philadelphia Phantoms in their first championship and was behind the bench for the one in 2005. Now calling the shots with the parent club. And John Stevens certainly has had as much success in this building as anybody.
He certainly has, and well-deserving. He's, you know, he's not the kind of guy that's going to holler and scream, but when he says something, you better listen.
Enroth is stacked between the pipes for Portland. Here's Jared Ross dancing by a man. Took the shot. Oh, and Enroth makes his biggest save of the game on the first shot he sees upon returning to the contact.
Wow, that's a good way to say welcome back. But what a move by Ross. Just unbelievable. Nice little move. Comes in, takes a shot. Oh, good glove save by Enroth. It's good to see. Hate to see hopefully it was an equipment malfunction or something, because the kid's 20 years old. He's got a young career in front of him. You hate to see him leave the game just because he got scored on.
I feel more sorry for Len DiCostanza. 1 shot, 1 goal. He was 0-9-0 with the goals against him, about 7 with his last team.
Yeah. I bet you he's a little relieved he's sitting back on the bench.
Puck fired into the Phantom end. Portland overskates it, now regains control. Shuts down low. They work it back onto the far half wall. Now to the blue line. Parker, one-timer, far circle, tipped out in front, right across the goal mouth. As a Portland Pirate was upended, and then he chopped the skates out from under J.S. Aubin. And the Phantoms were screaming about that.
Looked like nobody saw it, not even the Phantom defenseman.
Through the middle, shots at center, step back in. He's got Colin Murphy with him, couldn't get it to him. Phantoms intercepted, outlet through the middle at center ice. Jared Ross trying to make that move again, spins free and then banked it in deep. As the Phantoms completing the change.
Good heads-up play there. You got nowhere to go, kill little time.
Matthew Darks tipped one back into the Phantom end. Ridden hard into the wall by Bartulis. Good play to play that away. At the line, it's skipped by that point man. And the Phantoms jump on the loose puck, and Boyd Kane was poke-checked as he tried to cut in.
Right now, the Pirates' defense look a little ragged. They look a little loose.
I think they're gun-shy. I mean, they're... You're right, they give up 4 goals in this period, and they're kind of second-guessing themselves, maybe.
See, that was a good play by Kukin in there. You could have fed it up the middle, but he wasn't out of his zone. It could have been knocked down. You're killing the penalty off. Good heads-up play by Raji Kukin.
As Tim Kennedy gains the zone way too easily. Side of the net, it squirts in on goal, and Aubin's got that covered. And the Phantoms get sticks up high in the goal mouth scrum.
Well, you don't want to give anything right now to the Pirates to get fired up. You don't need to give them a reason to get back into this game. It's a 5-0 lead. You got 4 seconds left to kill off in the penalty, so it's just something you want to just kind of, you know, control your temper a little bit. Looking at Kevin Dineen, and talk about a number of guys. Talk about a gamer. There's a guy that came and played hard every night, Kevin Dineen.
Well, he's one of 2 former Flyers behind the bench. Eric Weinrich is also back there as his assistant. Michelle Samuelson, the Phantom assistant coach.
Some deep thought.
There's Wino, sporting that familiar hairdo.
Yeah, and boy, I saw him earlier before the game. It looks like he could still put the gear on.
Well, he tried to retire a couple of years ago, and they brought him back to play when they needed him. Shot through traffic, knocked down in front, Phantom out of the penalty box. Gaining control is Matt Claxton. He's up the right side, going wide with a bad angle shot, deflected in behind the net. Matsumoto chased it down to the left wing wall. Sends it in behind the goal with just about 6 minutes left in the second period. Maroon started the fireworks here in the second period. 2 goals in 40 seconds. Before the period was a minute and a half old. Ends up with a 3rd goal for his 2nd career hat trick. Boyd Kane also added a shorthanded goal. And the Phantoms on top of the Portland Pirates 5-0.
Right now, it looks like Portland's kind of ran out of steam a little bit. Phantoms are checking them tightly, so they're a little demoralized.
Pirates are changing. Curry deep in behind his own net. Into the corner, Bellamy, cross-ice pass. Bounced away from Ratchik. He settles it and makes the move at center ice. Gives it head up the left wing. Sirianni took the shot himself, and Enroth made the save, pulled it back in with Ratchik going to the front of the goal. 5-0. Phantom still on top of the second.
Right behind the fans bench here with Mike. Mike, why don't you stand up?
Kevin Dineen has his guys huddled in front of the Portland bench. He is trying to stem the tide. The Phantoms with a 4-goal second period have taken a 5-0 lead. Well, some great players have gone through Philadelphia and certainly have played in these walls. The Wachovia Spectrum, John Slaney certainly one of them. One of the best offensive players this American Hockey League has ever seen among defensemen. He still leads all scorers among defensemen in the AHL, and he was the captain of the 2nd Calder Cup championship team.
Talk about a guy that when he shot the puck on net, it had a purpose. Not only could he fire it, but he could see the whole ice, dish it off in the corner, whatever, and what a team guy he was.
Slaney, one of the best passers John Stevens said he ever saw. Tyler Bouck up the left side, deflects that up the wall and over the glass, and it ends up out of play. Well, we're not even through the second period, but I'm comfortable that we can name our check of the game because Matt Claxton got a guy pretty good.
Oh, he did, and he may have gotten away with one, but that's okay. Oh, man, did he catch him on rank. He's right there. He caught him head down and put his shoulder into him, so it's really good hockey.
6 foot, 190 pounds. He leads the American Hockey League with 25 fights, Matt Claxton.
And he's got the baby face. I mean, you look at him and you think, oh my God, you know, he's obviously he must win most of them because it's not showing up anywhere yet.
Oh, he's saving money on razors, that's for sure. At center ice, driven in deep into the Phantom end. Popped in the corner, leaves it there for Zagrafin, unable to feed the blue line. Phantoms broke that up, and Bellamy up the right side. Now Bellamy backhands it toward the net. Sticked away by Enruff in the corner. Sirianni turned his man around, still fighting for the loose puck. Claxton in on the forecheck. Now Sirianni in behind the net, unable to work his way back into the middle. He was spun to the ice. Gets back up and continues the fight. Claxton's going to chase it down in the corner. Bounces off a check as Koska put a shoulder into him. Gets up, still trying to keep it alive. Finally, Portland gets to it and clears. And Matt Claxton keeping Portland busy physically. And certainly dictating the tempo of this game to the Pirates.
Well, I think the big thing is right now, Portland has had only 3 even strength scoring chances. So that really tells you how tight the Phantom defense has been.
Boyd Kane back out with 8 Ravens. Here's Noodle with a shot that hit a man out in front.
Noodle hit him in the noodle.
Yeah, thank you. Phantoms take over. And a long shoot-in by Denny Sivret. Again, the Phantoms the only team in the league who are led in scoring by a defenseman. Of course, that defenseman is Danny Sivret. He's had a career year. So much so that in this new economic world in the National Hockey League with the cap now, he could be a perfect 7th defenseman one day.
Absolutely. With his offensive capabilities, and he doesn't hurt you defensively either, so there's no question.
Gragnani just failed to keep that end of the line, and Wellman took the shot. He was checked. The Pirates took exception to the shot after the whistle, but he was already in the motion of the shooting. And so the play is whistled dead with just over 3 minutes to play in what has been one of the Phantoms' best periods of the year.
It really has been. They've come out flying, but what I like even better is what they're not allowing. And that's the style of play that they have to continue. They're coming up now against a good line in Darsh, Gerbe, Koska, McDonald. I mean, these guys are very offensive-minded and capable, and yet they're not getting a sniff.
Let's look at Mike Ratchik. We talked to him between periods, and he is an exciting player. Here's Jared Ross back in, and his shot deflected up over the goal. He broke his stick, actually, on the play. Phantom trying to work it back into the goal mouth. It's tipped away from Andreas Noodle. Remember, 12 Phantoms at one point played for the Flyers. 12 guys that have played for both teams this year. Many of them are still up for the parent club. Stepping around him, and Gerbe put the brakes on in the corner. Now feeds out top left circle. Matt McDonald through traffic. That was blocked away. Gerbe trying to find it. Kennedy can't control, and Andreas Noodle turns out. Phantoms laid across to Boyd Kane, the Phantom captain. Just dumps it in softly, and the Phantoms will change up.
Well, there's a little experience there, too. They knew he wanted to change it, dump it in softly.
Dumped into the left wing corner by Mike Weber. Weber checked on the end wall, trying to keep it alive. And Slatton going to centering pass right through the goal mouth. And unable to get a stick on that in front was Hunter. Portland fights to keep it in the Phantom end. Along the boards, Philadelphia trying to drag that off the wall to clear, and it is out at center, but the Pirates control. Weber gains center, upended as he dumped it back in right in front of his bench. And Weber went awkwardly into the boards, and then the Phantom was hit from behind. Play continues, no whistle yet. And Kevin Dineen's asking for what he thought should have been a penalty.
Yeah, Gragnani hit Laliberte from behind.
Gragnani now is going to drop the gloves with David Laliberte.
That's not really Laliberte's, but he seems to be doing just fine.
They go to the ice, get right back up. Laliberte is taking pretty good care of himself, and then forces Gragnani to the ice.
Well, that's what you want to do. You want to stand up. Gragnani hit him from behind, So Laliberte thought he'd take care of it himself. And with 1:43 to go in the period, they're each going to go to their, well, Gragnani's going to the dressing room, maybe for some repair work. But there's a good chance you might see Matt Claxon on the ice in the next shift.
I don't know why you'd say that. Well, here's what started it. Laliberte's hit from behind.
It was on Weber.
Right.
And then they get up. It was a fine hit, and then Gragnani comes in, just cross-checkers him right in front of the bench. He gets up and takes matters into his own hands.
Play continued for quite a while, and Gragnani finally got Laliberte to drop the gloves. Laliberte was certainly willing.
And there was no question, and he handled himself very well. Maroon tried to come in there, too, to take care of his line mate, and they were going at it pretty good. Well, maybe that's what Portland, you know, take a look at the hit on Weber. It looked pretty innocent, yeah. Not too much there, but then when Laliberte gets up, that's when Gragnani...
He did go awkwardly into the boards there, but that was more because he was just off balance.
He was off balance. His skates were, you know, kind of sideways. There's no way, but it was but maybe that's what Kevin Dineen was saying in their huddle in the commercial break. You know, guys, we gotta show we want to win. We gotta show we gotta play here. We're just going through the motions here. This is an ice capade.
Well, Gragnani got the extra 2 along with the 5-minute fighting major that Laliberte got. So the Phantoms are going to be on their second power play as they skated 5-on-4. It's interference penalty, the extra 2 on Gragnani.
Well, that could have been anything, you know. And
yeah.
The linesman had to have stepped in and told the referee that, because I don't think the referee saw it.
Power play goal here, put the nail in the coffin.
It really does. But you still, with their kind of offensive and skating, you can't let up.
Well, like these one-of-a-kind jerseys the Phantoms are wearing tonight, there is a Broad Street Bully jersey on the Phantoms eBay auction page right now. Visit phantomshockey.com and put in your bid right now. Phantoms on a power play. Enroth had covered up the loose puck. It's in his glove. And we'll do this draw again on the near side.
They're kind of cool-looking jerseys. Unless you got to read the numbers.
Unless you got to read the numbers. They haven't quite figured out that numbers over stripes don't work. But they do look great. And
they do.
You can put a bid in. Here come the Phantoms on a power play again. Sivret made one move too many, threw the play in offside.
As a coach, when you're on the power play, I just think that's one of the worst things you can do is be offside. But honoring the teams of the 70s, it's kind of cool to remember the Broad Street Bullies and that. But, you know, they should do well. You get a chance. Take a look at these jerseys.
I think for a former Flyer Cup winner, this is a must-have for you. You better get busy.
I got 2 at home that I like a lot better.
Phantoms with a man advantage. Minute 22 left in the power play. And it is cleared by the Pirates all the way down the ice. Final minute of play in the period. Good period it has been. 2 goals in 44 seconds, actually 40 seconds by Patrick Maroon. Kane short-handed. Maroon then completed the hat trick. All in the second period. Ducked in down low on the end wall. Rob Sirianni, who scored the first goal in the first period. Backs to open ice in the right corner. Now he'll feed the blue line. Lassi Kukkonen goes point to point. Gets it back, winds and shoots. Hit a skate with that. Hit his own man. And shaken up in front of the net was a Phantom forward. I think that's Jared Ross. Now a shot the other way, deflected by a Phantom up over the glass and out of play.
Yeah, that had to sting a little because Kukkonen just kind of stepped into it. A one-timer, and boy, you can get a lot of extra oomph when you got all your weight coming in behind it.
Why that job of going to the front of the net is not as easy as it looks.
And it's not, and it's the same as guys that block shots. You know,
you got that in the back of the leg.
we got that in the back, right near the knee where there really is no padding.
Matthew Darks to take the draw. Phantoms still with a man advantage for the remainder of this period unless they score or unless another penalty counts. John Curry sends it ahead. Ratchick through center, right wing pass. Sirianni tried to chase that down. Puck jammed into the corner. Phantoms maintain control. Sirianni back to the line. One-timer by Curry. Fired just high and wide. Tipped out by Portland, and that should do it. The Pirates trying to come in 2-on-1. They've got time left for a shot on goal. They lay it out in front, hit a skate. And the horn sounds as Aubin reaches down and plugs one. They had Gerbe going to the net and just couldn't complete the pass. And the Phantoms complete a 4-goal second period to take a 5-0 lead to the room after 2.
Well, that's the kind of period you want when you're at home and you're fighting for a playoff spot. You come out, you get a little bit of breathing room, but I guarantee you John Paddock and Shel Samuelson are going to be stressing, don't change anything, don't open it up, don't give them a reason to get back into this game.
Well, Patrick Maroon, the hero in the second period, and he's going to join us downstairs. We're also going to talk about the Flyers' Wives Fight for Lives Carnival with Jade Wong. She's the girlfriend of Scott Monroe, and we've got highlights and more coming up. It's 5-0 Philadelphia in the second intermission. This third period is brought to you in part by Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge, grab life. Well, hang on to your hats. If the start of the third period is anything like the start of the second, this guy may be having second thoughts. Len DiCostanzo will come back in the game. He replaced the starter, Jonas Enroth, for a while, gave up 1 goal on 1 shot. Enroth came back, and now DiCostanzo apparently will go the rest of the way.
Yeah, I hope he does okay, you know. Kind of feel for the kid. He's thrown into a pretty tough position.
Well, Jared Ross on the left side will fire it in deep. DiCostanzo released by Reading of the East Coast Hockey League. And has not played at this level before. Out in front of the Phantom score, and it's Boyd Kane with his second goal of the game. That goal mouth passed right out in front, and Kane deflects in his 11th of the season. 3 goals in 3 games now for Kane. It's 6-0.
Well, he's 2 for 2. But anyway, it looked like a really nice pass. Great pass from Jared Ross. Coming across to Kane. Comes right across. That would have been a tough save for anybody, but that's a good way to start the period when you get a goal within the first minute.
And this young goaltender, Len DiCostanzo, saying, get me out of here. 2 shots, 2 goals again. Kane's got 2. Ross the assist. This was 21 seconds into the third period. The other assist has been awarded to the Flyers' Andreas Nodal. So the Flyers scored 49 seconds into the second period, 21 seconds into the third. And it is a complete domination. Phantoms gained control of their own zone, and Kane scooped it out of the zone to center ice.
Well, you don't get many games like this. You want to take advantage of them, there's no question. Have a little bit of fun at it.
Kennedy's shot sticked away by Aubin, and up the left wing. Here comes the hat-trick man, Patrick Maroon. Dumps it in deep, gets it back out in front. Oh, Maroon nearly had his 4th goal of the game. Shoot in from center ice by Mancari. Bad angle. They throw it back at the net. Aubin's going to put the glove on that and hang on. But the Phantoms are coming up with scoring chances galore. Here's Enroth, the starting goaltender, and his night apparently over. DiCostanzo is their 3rd-string goaltender at best. Their normal backup was injured and out of the lineup.
All Maroon does is come from out front of the net and just try to tuck it home.
Well, the day started. John DeCaro was their 2nd netminder, and he was scratched. They had to find somebody just to sit at the end of the bench. You're not going to play, kid. You just got to back up tonight. His record, 0-9-0. A goals against of 6.96. At Huntington Valley of the Eastern Pro Hockey League. He is getting his first experience in the American League tonight. Sirianni runs into a man deep, and taking that puck over his buyer. Shovels it up the left side. Here comes the captain for the Portland Pirates. And Buck was checked off the puck on the far wall. Nate Radens has it. Dropped it to his defense. Ratchet through the middle and collides with the man, but drives it in from center ice. Something always exciting is going to happen when Mike Ratchet's at the puck.
There's no question.
Here come the Pirates up a man up the right side. Rank, he was unable to control that. Tipped away from him. And the Phantoms spinning free, and coming out of his own zone is Jeff Swells. From center, he'll push it in deep, and the Phantoms want to change.
As a coach in an organization, Portland right now, you're going to find out a lot about your players. see who's ready to play, who's going to continue working hard.
Broken up at center ice. The Phantoms trying to get there. That clearing attempt hit the referee, but they're going to say it was brought back in offside.
But at this point in time, this time of year, there's no excuse for lack of effort. I don't care what the score is. You got to continue to work hard because you got 20-plus games to go to make the playoffs.
We started the night saying the Phantoms were not a gifted goal-scoring team. Were we wrong?
Well, I think there's been a couple of questionable goals, but I think the reason why they're getting more opportunities is because they're not allowing Portland to have many. So it works hand in hand.
Well, offense comes from good defense more often than not.
That's what wins championships is the defense.
Phantoms, of course, ranked 18th in the league in offense this year. Bellamy will drive it back in behind his own goal. And the Phantoms start out. Sirianni put it to the middle, but to no one. And at the line, Ratchett. His pass through the middle, intercepted by Colin Fretter, and he'll backhand that in deep. Aubin behind the net. Collision in behind the goal, but Philadelphia gets to the line, not out of the zone. Mike Koska, nifty move to sidestep a man out in front. The one-timer, and they score. Colin Fretter bangs it past Aubin. Fretter with his 17th goal of the season, and Portland is finally on the board.
Well, the real play there was Koska made a nice move at the blue line, and one thing you don't do is you don't leave the area. You don't leave the area and allow a man to come in. Nice play, comes across, beats Aubin to make it a 6-1. But right there is where he beats the Phantom player, and you got to stay in front of him. You can't allow him to win the blue line in your own end.
Colin Fretter gets his 17th of the year, 5 in the last 10 games for Fretter. And the shutout bid is for J.S. Aubin. The Phantoms are going to go right back to work, up 6-1 here in the third. You're right, Mike Koska, who drew the primary assist, made the play happen.
He made the play happen, and it's a defensive miscue when you leave the zone, and all of a sudden you're outmanned in your own zone.
3:23 the time of the goal for Portland. And now the Phantoms wrapping up the near side. Boyd Kane with 2 goals, gets to center. Gains control in front of the bench, trying to drive it in deep and down. No second assist on that power play goal for the Portland Pirates. Now it's center ice, driven in, glove down by Jared Ross. He lost it at center ice and right back in. Gerbe put the brakes on, spin free in front. The one-timer. Oh, Aubin makes a huge save on Kennedy. Thrown into the goal mouth. They jam at that, and Aubin had to knock it aside twice more.
Boy, there's an example where Gerbe and Kennedy clicked together, and Aubin came out with that save of the game for the Phantoms.
Well, we've been talking about the highlights in this building at the Wachovia Spectrum, and certainly the first and perhaps the biggest, the 1974 Stanley Cup Championship victory, 4-2 over the Boston Bruins. Bernie Braun, of course, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Fred Shiro, the winning coach. Game was the first championship ever won at the Spectrum, and team captain Bobby Clark, of course, whose name hangs in the rafters with some of his teammates, was the catalyst to it all.
That was only a couple years ago. You're going dog years.
I'm sure you have a lot of great memories from those years.
Oh, this building, if it could speak, and you know, there's only 12 games left, and you look at the guys on the team, there's only 12 games left in this building. If you haven't had a chance to come down here, there were people that came up from Washington, D.C. today that wanted to come to the Spectrum before it gets knocked down because they've never been here. So get an opportunity, you got to come and see this building. There's a lot of championships won here.
Win today and you'll walk together forever.
That is absolutely correct. Not a truer statement made. And I know sometimes you get tired of hearing it, but we don't.
Now the Phantoms trying to dig it free deep in the Pirate end. It's jammed back into the corner. Fighting for that Laliberte. He's had himself a good game. Centering pass out of the air. Patrick Maroon nearly got a stick on that. Maroon with 3 goals, and Laliberte has 3 assists in this game.
Di Costanza made the save there because that was deflected, and he stayed with it and managed to cover up on the rebound. So I'm sure he feels relieved at this moment to get some shots on him so he can get into the flow of the game.
Face off in the far circle in the Portland zone. Hitting on the draw, won by Nate Radens. Now Ratchek's going to come out to center ice to control it. Radens out there right now with Jeff Suez. And now Portland is offside at the Flyer blue line, so the faceoff will come back out anything for some.
That faceoff was won cleanly. I always believe that if the defenseman stays right on the blue line, it's a lot easier to come into the puck than it is if it goes past you. You got to go back to keep it into the blue line. So sometimes you got to be patient and just wait till that puck comes, because that came back pretty clean, and he went right by him.
Just asking one of the Portland Pirates staff who was the MVP at this point of the season, and he thought early on it was the goaltender Enroth, but lately that's not been the case. Enroth's going to drop his 7th straight game tonight.
Well, he's not getting a lot of offensive thrust from his forwards either right now, and he's a young kid, but he has been their mainstay up to the last few games.
There's Colin Fretter, who scored their only goal, and there's Enroth as we talk about him. His night seemingly has ended. Portland still 2 points ahead of the Phantoms at the start of tonight, so they'll both end up now with presumably 62 points at the end of tonight's game. Portland still in a lot better situation, very much in the playoff picture. They've got a 6-point cushion in their division. Here's a shot, bouncing puck on goal, and knocked aside by DiCostanzo. Far corner, the Phantoms digging in after it. Matt Claxton gets involved physically. He's got a man pinned in along the wall. Dropping his stick, Nate Radens. He's got that back in his hand. Took the glove off to do it, which could be dangerous.
It looks like Claxton was trying to signal a message, trying to pin the player up against the boards and not let him move.
Here come Portland on the attack. At center ice, dumped in by Slatton. Turning to play that, Mike Ratchett. Moves it up the left wing. Beaulieu, Hitman's across center ice on the right wing. Claxton will dump it in deep. And defensively, the Phantoms will change. And Portland comes up with it deep in their own end. Rather banks it back to the Philadelphia line. The Pirates 10, 11, 1, and 3 on the road this year. And they're actually 2, 1, and 1 in the last 4 road games. This is the third of a 7-game road trip for the Pirates. They got to hope it turns around a little better than it's been tonight.
There's no question about that. This is a little bit of a butt kicking right now, the way the Phantoms are playing and controlling all ends of the ice.
Yeah, they've been beat in every phase of the game.
They really have, and it's a good sign for John Paddock and the coaching staff of the Phantoms.
Yeah, their playoff picture is a little more difficult, but certainly they think they're still alive. Up the right side, the Phantoms trying to squeeze through. Rob Bellamy upended. On the end wall, Sirianni checked. Bellamy fights for control deep in the left wing corner. Trying to get away from Tim Kennedy. Taking to the ice, gets back right on his skates, continues the battle. Sirianni gets it to him on the near half wall now. Feeds the blue line. Bartulis rolls it in behind the net. And got away from Sirianni and behind the net. They jam it out to the right point. Controlled there. And Ratchett not able to get that shot through. Now it does come from the top of the right circle. And DiCostanzo will have to make a save. Bouncing puck back into the Phantom end. Lassi Kukkonen playing his 5th game in a Phantom uniform this season. And John Paddock has been thrilled to have him. He's been awfully good. Calls him one of the smartest players he's got on his team.
Well, when you lose the likes of Powell and up top, Giroux, Parent, it's nice to get some help.
Yeah, that certainly changed the dynamic of this team offensively when those guys went up. And it shows you when injuries happen, in this case the flu epidemic, the Phantoms lost 2 guys in Giroux and Ryan Parent, and suddenly they're up apparently to stay. Here's a shot fired up over the goal. Portland digging for it down low. Sivret jammed it into the corner. Jared Ross was checked. He's trying to hold it away from a man. Zagrapan drags that free, and at the line, Portland forces it back in. Zagrapan to Gerbe. Called off by the glove of J.S. Aubin, and he'll squeeze that right there. So the Phantoms still up by 5 here midway through the third. Tonight on Sports Night, get Leslie Goodell's exclusive report from Phillies spring training direct from Clearwater. Watch Ransom Cats countdown to opening day on Sports Night tonight at 10, only on Comcast SportsNet, the home of your World Series champion Philadelphia Phillies. Well, of course, Frank Maselli, the longtime COO of the Philadelphia Phantoms, honored tonight, inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the relationships that he's had with some of these men are one of the reasons he's standing where he is today.
Well, I think that's a sign of loyalty when you got Paul Holmgren there, John Stevens still involved. You know, that's just working relationship.
Here's a 2-on-1. Phantoms break in. Maroon in front with a shot just wide of the net. Laliberte unable to get it back out in front. Maroon still fighting for it on the end wall. He's had 2 huge games this season. A 5-point game in December. He's got 3 goals tonight. Still looking for more. And finally, Portland able to force it out at center ice. Matsumoto will drop it back to his own line. Now Matsumoto gets it free for Maroon. He tried to hit Laliberte in the middle. That's intercepted. Look out, the Pirates are in. Zagrapan's got a man cutting to the net. Couldn't get that shot through the Flyers. The Phantoms may have numbers the other way. Cut off with Matsumoto. Portland gets to it. Avoid Maroon. Claxon forces the puck in deep as the Phantoms complete a change. Approaching the midway point of this third period. Nate Radens picks up the loose puck, flipped it out in front, into the high slide. Mike Ratchik with a shot. That hit a man out in front. Where is it? It bounces right back to Ratchik, and he didn't see it.
No, even DeGostanza, he was looking all over the place for it after he found his stick.
Pirates lay it back into the near side. Behind the net, the puck got away from Sean Curry, but he's able to fight through his man. Trying to play that away from Slattengren. Aaron Slattengren protects the puck with his body. Gives it up to a teammate. That's with Darch. It's actually Fretter dumps it in behind the goal. Lassi Kukkonen unable to control that. Dylan Hunter leaves it in the corner off the referee's skate. Slattengren on the loose puck. Flipped it out right point. Tarpon just sends it to the corner, but the Phantoms are going to get there. Ratchik got it to Boyd Kane. Again, he failed to clear the zone, and now it is bounced out off a man into the crowd about 20 rows up and out of play. So we get a time out of the ice. We're past the halfway point of the third. Still a 5-goal Phantom lead. Back at the Wachovia Spectrum, where in 1998, the Philadelphia Phantoms brought the first Calder Cup championship to Philadelphia. They beat the St. John Flames 4-2. Mike Manilock, the MVP. John Stevens, now the coach of the Flyers, was the captain of the squad. And there is the banner, one of 2 hanging in the rafters of this great old building.
I came for that game, and the excitement was just great to see for these kids that play in the American Hockey League.
There were 17,000 on hand that night. Of course, the Phantoms will close their doors here in Philadelphia. They will move to a destination not yet official for next year. And this old building will go by the wayside, but the memories will never die.
I always liked it when it was 17,077. It was easier to remember.
Fighting his way through is Sirianni. Got by the first man, but Koska comes back to clean house, tucks behind his own goal. And the Pirates regain control and settle things out of their own end. Schutz, a pass into the middle. Here's Rank. He was poke-checked as he tried to get in. Now Matt McDonald will skate to the blue line, snap the shot, deflected well wide. Brett rides his man into the corner wall, and the Phantoms play that away. Jared Ross, nifty move to get away from Tim Kennedy. Ross jumped through center ice, got to the line, stick handles, free, and then angles it in behind the goal. You have to wait at the line to stay onside. Did a good job doing that to keep that rush going. Now it's Nate Gannon at center. Into the middle, chipped off the stick of Ross. Stepped around a man, picked it up again. Took a shot, he scores! Jared Ross does it himself. His 20th goal of the year. That's his first in 10, and the Phantoms open the 7-1 lead.
Well, that was just pure hustle, because he stripped the Pirate defenseman of the puck and just got a shot on net. But he'd been flying that whole shift. And just stripped, looked like McDonald. And then just shot it and went off the shoulder of DeGostanza as he was down. But that was just hustle, and he hustled that whole shift.
That was his 20th goal of the year. Assist number 7.
Always nice to get your 20th goal, too. I know they're not worried about that kind of stuff right now, but it's pretty important.
Gannon, the only assist on Jared Ross' 20th goal of the year. Here's a turnaround shot. Gerbe unable to get that through to the net. Portland still fighting. Kennedy out in front, and they do score. And Gerbe takes that goal-mouth pass. He had an empty net for his 21st, and the Pirates get it right back.
What a nice play there, nice passing play. Aubin had no chance at all. It was a wide open net. Gerbe standing on it. It looked like Darce had passed it across the goal mouth. Comes in from Kennedy to Gerbe. Wide open net. Aubin had no shot.
24 seconds separates the two goals. Ross and then Gerbe getting it right back. Here breaking in Fretter. He was cut off before he got to the net. Puck forced into the corner. Portland, their second goal of the period, and now a bouncing puck in the goal mouth is covered up by J.S. Aubin. Our Toyota turning point of the game. We're going to go back to the second period.
Well, there's 4 goals there right now. Maroon and just himself with 5 defenders coming around, stuffed at home. Within 40 seconds, Boyd Kane, shorthanded goal, just goes over the shoulder, then in front of the net. Looks like he may have kicked it in himself, but those 4 goals really turned this game around. That's a Toyota turning point.
Phantoms made it 7-1 on Ross's 20th of the year. 24 seconds later, Gerbe gets it back. 7-2 with just over 7 to play here in our last game at the Spectrum on Comcast SportsNet. And boy, we've been treated to a good one.
Well, we really have. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm sure the Phantom players are having fun because they don't get a chance to be in too many of these.
Well, we said, John Paddock talked about, we don't get into high-scoring games. That's not what we do. Well, they did tonight with a 4-goal second period. Patrick Maroon, the star with the hat trick, his second career. And now the Phantoms are trying to finish it off. Portland still fighting, but lost the puck to Lassi Kukin. And Kukin backhands it up the right side. Maroon trying to step by a man. That would have been offside had he touched it. And now as the Phantoms do just that, it's whistled dead.
You know, it could help some players, too, with their confidence in the offensive end. Just trying to get the puck on net, shoot the puck on net. And, you know, a lot of things, good things happen. Maroon has said it. Ratchek, you get the puck on net, a lot of good things can happen. Looking at John Paddock, you know, he's got a pretty good resume himself. 3 Calder Cup teams, championship teams. So there's a lot of experience behind that bench.
Just under 6.5 minutes to play here in the third period. Phantoms 7, Portland 2. And the Phantoms will be 4 points out of a playoff spot after this game tonight. Still trying to catch Binghamton for the 4th and last spot in the East Division. That center ice Suez backhands it up the boards, couldn't get it in deep. Radens couldn't control that, and now Claxton will, and he'll fire in. Costanza in behind the net. Portland from behind their own goal. This is Koska setting up. He's the only defender that's played every game for the Pirates. They have been killed by injuries at the blue line this year. Phantom take advantage of the turnover at their line. Play it ahead. And then they'll go to change as the Pirates break through. Gragnani stick handles his way to the Flyer line. Left wing pass to the Phantom line. Quick shot. Aubin made the save. Big one there on Schutz. And Aubin knocked to the side. Phantoms gain control. Ratchett couldn't clear his zone. Gets help though as Sean Curry lifts it off the center ice. Loose puck batted ahead. Up the left wing now. Sirianni waiting and then dumped it into the corner. Julio takes his man into the inboards. Sirianni tried to knock it down. Puck comes free for Grenier in the corner. And Yanni gets it up the boards. And Murphy outlets out of his own zone. Ballmeyer on the left wing sends it in with the backhand and Aubin behind his own net. Under 5 to play in the third. Big Sean Curry lugs it to center, gains the red line, flipped it in wide of the net. Costanza settles it for his defense. Phantoms again make a change. No need to be greedy here now. As the Phantoms just want to be sound, responsible hockey. They dump it the length of the ice. Ross gives chase. Costanza bats it away from him. Kennedy makes a move in front of his own goal. The American Hockey League Player of the Year. Or Player of the Week this past week. Darch on the right wing. Gerbe tried to put the brakes on, lost an edge, and the Phantoms come the other way. Andreas Noto, he's got a man. Ross going to the net and couldn't get it across. Noto spins off the wall, nearly runs into a man. And look out, a long lead pass. They had Gerbe sprung behind the defense, but couldn't get it to him. Lassi Kukin scrambles back in behind his own net, holds him off, and that puck deflected off the man up over the glass and ends up out of play. So we got a break. It's 4 minutes left in the third. 7-2 Phantoms. Back in the third period, the Phantoms up by 5 over the Portland Pirates. It was 2005, the second Calder Cup championship team. The Chicago Wolves were the favorites, but the Phantoms swept them in 4. And Tero Nedamaki, the MVP of the series, for Coach John Stevens' club, finishing it at home, really across the street at the Wachovia Center, as Boyd Kane lifted the hardware, and the Phantoms had their second championship.
You look at the players on that team. You had Patrick Sharp, Nitty Mackey, Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, John Slaney. Not a bad team. And 20,100, that was a tough. I was getting calls for tickets on that. My first question to them was, where were you all year?
That was a tough ticket to come by that night.
It really was.
Puck is free in the Phantom end. At the line, it's knocked down. Koska tried to throw it through the middle. And it was blocked and cleared by the Phantoms with under 4 minutes to play. Back to get it, Koska. Cross ice pass. Portland, 28 wins on the year. They have given up a ton of goals lately, though. 18 in 3 games before tonight. Puck tipped out in front of the net.
That's just far too many at this time of the year.
25 goals allowed in the last 4 games by the Portland Pirates. If they are a playoff team, and there's little doubt that they will be, they're going to have to shore that up.
They certainly are, because they don't have that kind of scoring thrust to score 4, 5, 6 goals a game. And in the playoffs, you don't get those kind of opportunities or chances.
At center ice, Suez backhands one in deep. And running back there, Carter nearly lost it on the end wall to Matt Clarkson. Clarkson digs it free out of the corner, looking in front, threw it at the net. Costanzo plays it over to the far side. Phantoms have not stopped working.
They really haven't. You got to continue and create those good habits.
Claxton took a run at the man at center. He's going to be penalized. The goaltender to the bench, and the whistle will be blown, and Portland will go on the power play. Well, there's one more guy we want to remember. Orest Kindrachuk scoring one of his many goals in a Flyer uniform. They all seem to be into empty goals. How is that?
Well, that's when you start missing them from there. That's when you retire. But I believe this was in the playoffs against Atlanta. The first playoff series that I played, and it was quite a thrill to score in my first playoff game going towards the Stanley Cup. I think I managed to get 2 goals that game, and it was just, I have to admit, I got some goosebumps. Especially hearing Gene Hart announce it.
Yeah, and every Flyer that was part of those teams said not only winning the Cups, but the way they've been treated by this organization has made it especially great. Costanzo makes a great play, or Gragnani makes a great play at center ice to keep the Phantoms from breaking down short-handed. Minute 37 left in the clock. And this is the Portland power play. Out of the corner, Matthew Darch plays it to the line. Gragnani sends it back into the corner for Tim Kennedy. Darch in front of the net. Gerbe sends it right across the front of the goal mouth. He was looking for Van Terry. Back to the line. Kennedy winds, shoots, save Aubin, and he's got that. No rebound as he cradles that to the glove.
You know, the amazing thing is tonight that we really haven't had a lot of talk about the defensemen individually. We haven't really mentioned their names a lot between Gannon and Sivret, Bartulis, everybody like that. So that just tells you that they're doing their job so sound, so defensive-minded, that you don't get a chance to mention much because there's nothing really spectacular. They're just stopping the Portland gun shooters to everything.
Boyd Kane went to the bench having words with Nathan Gerbe. On the draw, Portland still controls with a man advantage. Jamming in on the end wall, but time is their biggest enemy, and certainly they're not going to have time to make up this 5-goal deficit. Swinging behind his own net now. Carter headman's up the left side. Cutting to the line. Dylan Hunter protects the puck and wings it in behind the net. He was a teammate of Patrick Maroon in London. Koska into the right wing corner. Slatengren sets up on the near half wall. 38 seconds left in the main advantage. Out of the corner. Hunter plays into the line. Koska goes point to point. Trying to get it into the middle. Tipped away by the Flyers. Koska right side. One-timer. Turker scores up high. Aubin. No, they're going to wave that off. They say it was hit by a high stick. Portland will argue, but it will not count.
Well, it looked like he was standing right there, and unfortunately they don't get replay, but it looked like his stick was above the crossbar, knocking it down. So
I honestly thought this went off of Aubin, but clearly a Pirate got a stick on it above the crossbar.
There's no question that that was deflected. It's just a matter of where his stick was at the time.
Yeah, it was Slatengren that his stick was above the bar. And so the referee waved it off immediately. That's Terry Koharski. And some obvious bloodlines in that bench.
You know what really bothers me tonight the most?
What?
I haven't been able to get on the refs at all. That really irritates
Just
me.
killing you,
It's
isn't it?
just killing me.
Final minute of play here at the Spectrum in our final game on Comcast SportsNet. A 4-goal second period, the difference. Patrick Maroon with his second career hat trick. Phantoms a long shoot in from the other side of center ice. Glove down by DiCostanzo. Here are the Pirates on the attack again. Slatengren unable to get it into the middle. And Matsumoto backhands it out. Penalty is over. Claxon is back out. It's 5-on-5 hockey. Over the line. Schutz with a shot up high. Over the shoulder of J.S. Aubin. Aubin about to win for the Phantoms what will be his 6th of the year. Bouncing puck through wide of the net. Nate Gedden shovels it into the corner. Schutz in the corner. Checked hard. His head went into the glass. Big hit there in the corner by Nate Gedden. And that defensive pair, Gannon gets it to Sivret. He flipped it ahead. 10 seconds left. Matsumoto sends it up the left side. Long shot. Julio had that stop. And it's loose into the corner. They're counting it down at the Spectrum. Maroon with his second career hat trick will be the star as the Phantoms beat the Portland Pirates 7-2.
Well, that's the way John Paddock wanted to. I'm sure he wasn't expecting a 7-2 victory, but they really shut him down because there just weren't that many chances by Portland. There were 13 chances in the whole game. That's good stuff by their defense, and you know, Gannon and Sivret, Julius, and everybody just played a solid game for him. But you got to give credit to the forwards. They came coming back hard. 25 goals allowed by the Pirates in the last 4 games. The Phantoms took advantage and now have pulled into, well, they have the same number of points as Portland. They're in the other division. Top 4 teams in each division make the postseason. Phantoms still with the 4-point deficit behind Binghamton. Well, our Dodge save of the game is going to belong to J.S. Aubin. Well, it comes across right on Kennedy. Sticks his right pad out there. He one-times it. Man, that was a good save. You could hear the thud. Aubin played steady tonight. He's cool. He makes the saves. He gives the team a feeling of confidence.
We'll go to break. The final score at the Spectrum, the Phantoms win it 7-2. Philadelphia Phantoms hockey has been brought to you in part by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. By Wachovia, the official financial services partner of the Philadelphia Phantoms. And by Dodge, live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge, grab life. We're back at the Wachovia Spectrum. Fond farewell to this great old building. Flyers minor league affiliate here since 1996, and it's coming to an end this season. Our last chance to do one here on Comcast SportsNet.
Yeah, it's kind of sad for me to see that and look at all the history in such a short period of time. It really didn't take that long to acquire and put their reputation. And the team, you know, I'm not sure where they're going at this point in time, but it's just really kind of a sad night for me to see the Spectrum like this. And it's nice that they won tonight and everything like that, but you know, it's progress. Things got to move on, and hopefully wherever they go or whatever happens, that the Flyers across the street can build their own legacy.
Well, I think the relationship is going to continue no matter where they end up. There is talk about a potential building in Allentown down the road. That might be a possibility. But for now, this is the last season here at the Spectrum. There's still another dozen or so games left, so you still have the opportunity to enjoy this place one more time. But in our last telecast, we got treated to a real good one.
We really did, and it's been fun working with you and everybody here. The stage crew has just been great. Everybody's been wonderful. I don't get a chance to do a lot of these, but it keeps my finger in the game, and there's nothing better than hockey and played at its best.
What's the lasting memory you'll take out of this building?
The lasting memory I'll take is when Joe Watson's standing behind the net and they're countdown by Gene Hart. The Flyers have won the cup. The Flyers have won the cup.
I'd have been disappointed if he had answered it any other way. The Phantoms get 3 goals tonight by Patrick Maroon. Pretty good effort defensively. A team that has given up more shots than any club in the American Hockey League really did a good job defensively on the Portland Pirates tonight, and they took advantage of their scoring chances and made this look easy.
They really did, and hopefully they'll grow from that. I think Portland may have had a little bit of an off night, but that's what they got to do if they want to make the playoffs.
Well, it's over for us here at this building. Again, there's still plenty of opportunity for you to see more hockey here at the Spectrum. Again, a dozen or so more home games. But some great memories in this old barn, and you can't help but feel it and remember them as you come into this building. It was Mr. Snyder's baby from day one. He made it happen. He got the building built. He brought hockey really to Philadelphia, and this was a great stage for it for many years.
Well, you look at Kate Smith there. Boy, I'll tell you, just her hearing that John Stevens, hopefully he can have the same success along with the Flyers, and he'll build their own legacy.
Our special thanks to our whole crew. For Orest, Kindrachuk, this is Tim Saunders saying so long. Again, the final score tonight in our Spectrum farewell. The Phantoms beat the Pirates 7-2.